Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Slasher Movie Club time, Coriander. Monday
hmm
nights, you know what we're doing. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and as
hmm
usual, always excited to do these episodes. And we're
Right.
just we're finding a lot of interesting movies. A
Yeah.
couple of not so fun ones, but we've found a lot of gems, and that's really
Mhm.
really cool. Um,
Yeah.
let's see who we have in the chat real quick before we start our intro proper. We got,
Okay.
of course, we got Patrick saying it's Slasher Movie Club time.
Hey,
There you go,
Patrick.
Patrick. Put that thing out there, man. I appreciate that. We got Denisha in the chat saying, "Hey, Night Watch Zone, good live stream tonight. Haven't seen
Hello.
it yet, but let's talk about it." Yeah, this is an interesting
Okay.
one. It is really interesting.
Eh,
Patrick saying,
Yeah,
"This
it
should
is.
be good." Yeah. All right. Denisha saying, "Yes, it's time." Hey, Coriander girl.
Hello.
Uh, my man Neil is in the chat saying, "Hey guys, what's going on, Neil? How you doing,
Hey.
man?" Dan, that's great. Now you know when people start using your lingo, you know you've done a pretty good job. Dan saying, "Good evening, Dark Territory." Dan,
Mm.
I'm not gonna say anything yet. Um, but I will tease this. I mean, this is definitely don't go in the woods alone. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Flamethrower is in the chat saying it's a first time watch for me. David's in the
Yeah.
chat. One of these days you should review the classic movie Sorry Wrong Number because it feels like a slasher movie. I haven't seen that one. That'd be a fun
I
one to
haven't either.
watch. We've
hmm
really been enjoying watching these movies that we either have never seen or
hmm
haven't seen in a long time. And, again, we're really glad you guys are able to join us when you're able to,
Yeah.
because it lets us know that we should keep doing Slasher Movie Club, which is meant to be a little bit different than our regular episodes. Is meant to be a little bit more of a community type of discussion type of thing. And we've had a lot of good times, Coriander.
We
And
have.
and
I
I just
agree.
and I just wanted to throw out, one of those moments. I'll get to that, but we're gonna get finish getting
Yeah.
set up. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax. It's Slasher Movie Club time. All right, let's.
Why'd you have to do that?
I saw the look on your face as that was playing. Oh man, oh that was a
Oh
fun
man, it's
moment.
exactly what I was
Oh
thinking.
my god. I rewatched that episode for you guys that are watching us and you're probably like, what the hell is going on here? I was just reminiscing about one of
Oh
our
shit.
episodes from, I don't know, it's been like a month and a half now. Too Scared to Scream. And Coriander's reactions, they were just priceless. They were gold. And that's the
Oh,
type of
stop.
fun. No, but seriously, that's the type of fun I really do enjoy, that we're able to do, especially on these forgotten movies. It's just fun because
Mm-hmm.
it's you never know. I mean, Dan was talking about the possibility of dark territory. You never know. It could be dark territory, or you could have those moments that are really, really cool. So, anyways,
Yeah.
let's get into this thing, man. So,
Okay.
we're t- we're talking about Sweet 16 from
Mm-hmm.
1983, and
Yeah.
it starts off, and I gotta admit, Coriander, it started off in a way, one, that I didn't expect, and two, that was totally different than what the movie is really about. Um, I don't know how you felt about it, but it starts off with Dana Kimmel,
Yeah, it was
who
weird.
it was weird. Dana Kimmel
Mm-hmm.
is reading a book or something. And of course, for anyone that has followed us, we're big fans of the Friday the 13th franchise. Dana Kimmel
Yeah.
was the lead, the final girl in Friday the 13th, part three. And so
Yeah.
as soon as I started seeing this, I'm like, all right, I'm in. She's like in a weird, it looks like a castle, all these candle lights, and it's dark, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got this really creepy music. The music was actually really good. I enjoyed the music in the beginning, and I'm thinking, wow, we're going down this road. This doesn't seem like the movie I thought it was going to be. And she wakes up. It was a nightmare. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? But
Yeah.
I will say
Those
this, if
novels she reads.
exactly, it falls in line with who she is as a character. She's a huge
Mhm.
murder mystery, reader and aficionado, and we don't understand any of that yet until we realize that she's the daughter of the town sheriff. And so
Yeah.
she's basically, he calls her his little Sherlock, and I thought that was really cool. And of course, the sheriff is
Mm.
played by the great Bo Hopkins. And
Yeah.
let me just say, and he played Sheriff Dan. Let me just say something. No matter what happened in this movie from here on out, the beginning of this movie, I was already I was cool. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Mm.
got Dana Kimmel. I've always been a huge
Yep.
fan of hers from Friday. And Bo Hopkins immediately caught me. He just had the
Mhm.
charisma. He had a really cool disposition. He was just a cool character.
He
And
really was.
yeah, and the story, it focused a lot in certain parts on his relationship with his kids. And
Yep.
that was some
Single
great
dad.
story. He's a single dad, yeah. So
Yep.
his kids, Billy and Marcy's played by Dana Kimmel, and their little interactions with each other, I thought were really, really cool. What did you think about their family dynamic?
For a single father, he's doing a hell of a job. I mean, you
Right?
can tell he cares for his kids,
Yes.
and his kids seem to be pretty good kids. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, they're about as good as you can have for kids. And
exactly.
not to sound all old school, but he was when he talked, they listened. That's the type of
Right?
father he was. But he was also very kind and caring and gentle to them, which, like I
Yeah,
said, it was really cool to see. And again, Bo Hopkins,
definitely.
hats off to him. It was a great role. But at this point, Korean, I'm thinking, well, this doesn't seem like the movie that I signed on for. It's like this is supposed to be a slasher movie called Sweet 16 about this girl that's having a birthday party and all that type of stuff. But guess what? It goes
Mhm.
off into an even different direction, Coriander, because
Yeah.
we go into the scene in a bar and you see,
Mhm.
the usual rowdy guys whooping it up and this and that. And all of a sudden, this older man comes in. This older Native American man comes in. And all of a sudden, it goes down that road. And I'm like, oh boy,
Mhm.
here we go. And you got to have villains in these movies. But
Right.
as soon as this started to pop off, I'm like, oh man, you got Jimmy, just a loud mouth. He's a punk. He's a jerk and all that
Mhm.
type of stuff. And they're messing with this old man, and I'm just like, oh come on, this sucks, man. It was
Yeah.
really, I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously. Go ahead.
obviously, everybody respects their elders, but
Hmm.
I mean, especially us, we're us natives. I mean, we really respect our elders. And
Hmm.
yeah, this is like such bullshit that these fucking goons are, picking on this guy. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, man. Wha-
Mhm.
but anyways, that's not even the best part, Coriander, because, we're Friday the 13th fans, and especially lately, if you've been watching our channel in the last,
Mhm.
several months, we've definitely gotten invigorated by the Halloween franchise. And who comes
Yeah.
in to save the old man but our
Right?
boy, Don Shanks? Mr.
Yeah.
Michael Myers himself from Halloween 5, The Revenge.
Right?
Now, and we love Don Shanks, and he's done some really cool stuff in his career. We
Mhm.
didn't like the mask, okay,
Nope.
and I'm pretty sure Don didn't even like that mask. But the point, the point of it is that you know, but no, it was cool to see him in a pretty good role. Actually, I thought that it was
Yeah.
a pretty cool role for him to be in. I mean, he played
Yeah.
a part on that old show, The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. That was way back in the
See,
day, like
yeah.
74 or something like that.
Yeah. I think my dad watched that, but I've
Yeah,
only seen,
my dad too.
just like a glimpse of it. I never really paid attention to it.
Right, right. Yep. But yeah, so Don Shanks comes in and he's like, "Look, don't be messing with the elders, and he basically stands
Yeah.
up for the old man. He roughs up the
Mhm.
idiots. And but the old man was cool because he knew the score. He had this little smile on his face because
Yeah.
he knew that Don Shanks was going to wreck house. But he breaks
Mhm.
it up and he says, take me home. Don Shanks is playing this guy called named Jason, and he's like, Jason, drive me home. And
Yeah.
so they leave, and all is fine. But when they walk outside, this is where we start to get into the main heart of the story, because this girl
Mhm.
comes up to Jason and is like, hey, nice to meet you, da 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 da. I think they might have known each other. That's the way the conversation kind of seemed. And she
You
wants to
think?
party. Well,
Well, she
because
just moved there, and yeah, she does want to party. I just think she was trying to hit on any
well
guy she could, and this was
well
the first one that she ran into.
well, that's true, but remember, he works for her father on the archaeological
Yeah,
dig.
I
So he's got
guess,
to he's
but
got to know that's his boss's daughter, because
I
the
don't
first thing
know.
he said, well, I'll tell you why I think it is, because he says, you need to go home, you're too young of a
Because she's
girl,
a
this and that.
kid. He can
Right.
see that she's a fucking kid.
Right.
And there's
Yeah.
no that's no place for, I wouldn't want my 15-year-old to hang out at a bar. Hell
Oh,
no, picking up
absolutely.
guys. It's like, come on.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he knows her because, like I said, him and her father have been working. He's been working for her father for a while, so he's got to know the daughter. He knows the mother, so why wouldn't he know the daughter? Um, so anyways, he tells her to get out of here, and she's kind of like, just like, well, da 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 da. And next thing you know, it kind of switches from Jason, because he gets out of there, and it goes into the other guy who was hanging out in the bar, and he just seemed like one of those guys that's just like, well, I'm just gonna be around the cool people, you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
like he's just hanging around. But anyways, long story short, he picks up Melissa, and they basically get into the truck. His name is Johnny,
Yeah.
and he gets into the truck. He takes her out to the old Indian burial ground and all that type of stuff,
Yeah.
and she gets weirded out. And there's this scene where you start to see like a POV, you know what I mean? And this is when the movie kind of starts to kind of get into its rhythm, because you start to realize, oh, okay, this is that type of slasher. It's much
Mhm.
more like an American giallo. You got the point of view, you've got the music that ramps up. And so anyways, you can hear that music, and she's like, let's get out of here, it's too creepy out here. And you can see the camera getting closer and closer to the truck, because they're sitting on the out, the back of the truck. And so
Mhm.
they they start to head on out, and she can't get in the truck. She's like, let me in, let me in.
Yeah.
And the camera's getting closer and closer. You could tell it's a person. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so now we kind of know what this movie is going to be about. And so let me ask you this. Now, the beginning of this movie, we kind of had multiple things going on before we even get to Melissa. Do you think that was a good thing for the movie, or do you think it was too jumbled up in the beginning?
I think it's just showing you the type of town they're in,
Okay.
the people you're dealing with, not very smart people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I I didn't think it was too much,
Okay. All right.
you
All
know.
right. Real quick too, in the chat, Patrick was saying Bo Hopkins is steady actor. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, he was a highlight of this
He
movie.
was.
There
Yeah.
was no doubt about it. He was the
Yeah.
standout. He really was. He was
Yeah.
amazing. Steven's in the chat saying, "What up? What's going on, man? How you doing?"
Hello.
Let's see. Got a couple more comments here. Flamethrower saying, "My mom was full-blooded native. I was starting to get pissed for a
Nice.
second." Right?
Yeah, my dad's
Right?
full-blooded, so I hear you, man.
Right? I mean,
Mhm.
they were leaning hard into that. Of course, this was 1983. They couldn't get away with that stuff now. But and I don't want to jump ahead too far, but what I absolutely loved about Bo Hopkins' character later down the road, he gets pissed off, kind of like we've been pissed off, and he explains why, which was really cool. But we'll get to that.
Mm,
Neil saying, "I used to watch Grizzly Adams." Right? Yeah,
nice.
absolutely.
Like, I
Uh,
remember the song a little bit, but
mhm.
I never really watched it.
Yep. Dan saying, interesting cast, at least. It was an interesting cast. Mr. Bones in the chat saying, what up,
Hello.
peeps? What's going on, man? Nice to see you. Nice to
Mhm.
see you. So anyway, so now we're leaning into the main heart of the story, which is about Melissa. You know,
Yeah.
she comes there with her father and
Mm.
her mother. Her father is an archaeologist who's there
Yeah.
for a couple of months on a dig. And
Yeah. And they obviously been moving around like
yes,
for maybe her whole childhood, who knows, up until now.
right.
It seems like they've been always on the go. So,
hmm And it's a classic story of she's just kind of one of those kids. I think she's just trying to find herself, and she's got a wall up for defense against everyone, and she uses, you know, her way that she communicates with people is through
her
being
sexuality, it's
flirtatious,
like,
you know, and
yeah,
being flirtatious
she's,
with the guys and being
yeah.
standoffish against the women, you know, or the
Mhm.
girls, you know what I mean? And I think that, you know, and you can relate to that. You see people like that all the time, men and women.
Mhm.
So at this point, we also realize that when she leaves Johnny and they go home and he meets her father, which, but by the way, and we talked about that, someone had mentioned it a little bit earlier. You got your boy from The Howling, Patrick
Yeah.
McNee, playing
Yeah.
Dr. John Morgan. That's Melissa's father. And he's always great to see. One thing I will say is I don't think he was in the movie enough. You know, he has a really good
Mhm.
presence, and I really enjoyed him. But
Right.
there he is, right there in the middle. And
Mhm.
so, anyways, he's an archaeologist, and Jason, played by Don Shanks, works for him. So, anyways, that's the
Mhm.
setup. But Johnny, the night before, when he leaves Melissa's house, he runs out of gas. He's
Yeah.
walking back,
And
and
he's
he's
trashed.
he's trashed, and he's
Mhm.
walking back to pretty much close to where they were before. And next thing you know, Coriander, you hear the music and you see the
Yeah.
POV, and right from behind, he gets stabbed like what, 8 times easily. I mean,
Quite quite a bit,
it's
yeah.
like wow. So now we've got our first death on screen,
Mhm.
and so the next morning he obviously hadn't gotten home. So you got Sheriff Dan who gets called and basically like, okay, we gotta figure out what happened, and we gotta go out to where he was last seen. So he goes out there with his two kids. And again, shout out to Dana Kimmel. It's interesting though, because in this movie, she played a nice part. It obviously wasn't a leading part, but it was a very good part. But I wish I could have seen more of her character, because she was really interesting as that junior detective, you know? And but anyways, they get out to the area and they're searching around, and she's the one that actually stumbles upon Johnny's body. And
Yep.
it obviously freaks her out and so forth. So now her father has to figure out what happened, this murder. And this was a really cool part of the movie too, because you know obviously he's trying to figure out things. Dana Kimmel is like that young detective. She's trying to figure out things. He also has some cute moments where he calls one of his friends, Bo Hopkins does, and
Mhm.
she's obviously got access to a lot of files and things like that he can use for his investigation. And she was
Yep.
just hilarious. She's constantly trying to pick him up, because they know each other, they're friends. But it was cool little banter back and forth, because again, he's a single dad. I think the mother
Yeah.
passed away. I think they say later on.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, so
I
he's
may have missed that part.
yeah, so I mean, I believe he's widowed. So, anyways,
Yeah.
but it was cool moments. Real quick too in the chat. Let me get to these guys, and then I'll get your take on that stuff too, Coriander. Um, let's see. Denise was saying, I watched your Final Destination ranking video. It was hilarious. I enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. We
Nice.
we appreciate that. Glad you enjoyed it. David saying Patrick McNee was also on the TV series The Avengers. That's right. Yeah, he was. He was. And Dan with the deep cut, the Battlestar Galactica intro voice. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Very cool. Neil saying, according to IMDb, Leslie Nielsen was supposed to play McNee's character. Yes.
Yes,
And that was
he was.
actually, you beat us to the punch, Neil. we were gonna
Right.
we were
And
gonna
there
throw
was
that
only
out
like
there.
3 of them. Yeah.
I know. But
It's
yes,
one
you're
of them.
right. You're right. You're right. Let's
Yeah.
see. Smells like Teen Horror saying never heard of this one, but I gotta watch it now. Yeah, I mean
There you
it
go.
definitely had some good moments. But let's kind of get further into the story. So you've got Bo Hopkins kids who befriend Melissa, and that kind of
Mhm.
starts a little bit of a thing. She's definitely a loner, this Melissa, and a lot of the
Yeah, she
kids kind of look at her kind of like, oh, well, what's she up to,
well, the
but
girls are doing that. The boys are
that
like, "Yeah."
well, that's what I was just about to say. You got this one guy, a football guy that befriends her and is like, "Hey, let's hang out," and this and that, and she's like, "Okay, no problem." And so, but you know what's going to happen with him? He goes to meet up with
Yep.
her, and he gets killed too. And it's the same
Yep.
idea as that POV shot with the music and slashing with a knife to the back. I mean, he
Mhm.
gets messed up. So, long story short, Bo Hopkins has to figure out a whole bunch of shit. So
Yeah.
he goes and he's talking to and you gotta love this because obviously for anyone that has watched this, you guys know I'm a huge Rocky fan. And from Rocky 4, you got Michael Pataki
Yep.
playing George. And so anyways, long story short, they're just trying to figure out stuff. I mean, this is the bottom line of the movie. It's a mystery. And I actually found that pretty cool because you really didn't know what the hell was going on. Um,
Yeah.
and George, he also knows Melissa's mother. And I guess
Mhm.
she used to live in the town or something.
Yeah. They
And
went to school together. Yeah.
yes, that's right. They went to school together. So, and this is Susan Strasberg, who's playing Joanne, Melissa's mother. So, so in other words, you've introduced a lot of characters in this movie, and a lot of stuff
Yeah.
is going on. I'll be honest with you, I was lost as far as who I thought the killer could be. Now, they
Right?
definitely angled it a lot to Don Shanks because Don Shanks
Of course.
was rough and tough through a lot of the movie, but we
And
understand
native.
why. And native.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And here's that scene just to reference that. And I think Flamethrower probably enjoyed this scene too because the town is up in arms. And you got those two idiots that were in the bar earlier in the movie who are at the microphone at a town hall meeting where Bo Hopkins is just trying to figure out how to solve this case, but also calm the public. So you got these two idiots. They're like, yeah, and they're talking about Don Shank's character and the old man, and Bo Hopkins grabs
Yeah.
this idiot
This
so
is a great
quick.
part.
I
Mhm.
love this part because he pulls him
Mhm.
backstage a little bit. And the way he did it, I'm not doing it any justice whatsoever. But he tells him, he's like, I know you don't think I'd look it, but my mother's side of the family was Native American, was full blooded. And
Mhm.
of course, the guy's an idiot. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't know that. And he says, and Bo Hopkins says, and it really just irritates me when you call them scum, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And he kind of roughed him up a little bit too. And I was like, yeah, but he did it in
Yeah.
a way that was calm and cool and like, hey, you better drop the
Shut the
shit.
fuck up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. And he's such a cool this Bo Hopkins was so great in this because then he gets on the microphone and he tells the people at the town hall, it's like, nobody's gonna do any type of thing against nobody, no vigilante bullshit. And he
Yeah.
says something like shit or I'll have your ass or something like that. And then he
Mhm.
says, pardon me, ladies. It's like this
Yeah.
guy is cool as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he was just
Yeah.
so quick and charismatic. So, anyways, let me let me get to these. I mean, I know you enjoyed his character too, right?
I did. Yeah.
He was great, man. Uh,
Mhm.
Neil saying, "Damn it, sorry, it's okay, Neil. We weren't even
Right?
going to really
It's all
mention it
good.
because there weren't a
There's
lot
only
of
yeah,
facts.
just a few, right?
Don't don't worry about it, man."
Oh, that's funny.
Flamethrower saying, "As a dad, I was disappointed in several of her choices." Right?
Right? As a
Exactly.
mother, same. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I mean, yeah, but I will say this, and I'm definitely not saying her actions were good, but you kind of understand why she does that. Like she's one of those kids that just has
She's
no
seeking
real
attention. Obviously,
yes.
she's
And
her parents are too busy doing their own
yes.
shit.
And of course, at the end,
So,
we also find out some stuff that really makes sense of it too. We won't get to that yet. Okay.
right.
Um, Denisha was saying, what do you guys rank this movie? Or is this better than the Final Destination movie? Well, they're two different types of movies. Um, so I wouldn't even really rank them
Yeah.
against each other. You know, it's kind of like ranking Star Wars and Rocky. It's like both movies I absolutely love, but I could never really put them head to head because they're two
Well, I don't
different
know if
types
I
of
would say
movies.
I absolutely love this movie,
No, no, no.
but
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying when you have
oh,
two totally different types of movies,
yeah.
it's really, and that's one thing about the slasher movie club that I enjoy is that we're talking about movies that are like some of them are just forgotten movies, from,
Yeah.
the early 80s. And it's kind of
Right.
fun to just explore them, so to speak. But anyways,
Mhm.
um, we have that scene where Melissa is outside and she's walking and it's like an alleyway and she sees the old man, Greyfeather,
Oh
and he
yeah.
comes
Yep.
up to her and says, "Run, get away, get away." And next thing you know, you see the body of the football guy that she was supposed to be meeting. And so,
Yep.
of course, she thinks that Greyfeather killed the kid. Now, part of that,
Mhm.
like you were saying, is some attention seeking too, and also just
Mhm.
jumping to conclusions. The cool
Yeah.
thing about it is when Bo Hopkins was asking her questions, he wasn't jumping to conclusions. You could tell he was
Yep.
really a cool cop, a cool sheriff,
Fair.
fair,
Mhm.
very fair and very open minded, and the type of person you'd want to be as your sheriff in a town because he's a good person, and
Yep.
he tries to see the good in people before he sees the bad. Not saying that he's
Mhm.
ineffective because he's damn effective, but I'm just saying he's a
Right.
really good guy through and through. So, anyways, um, so she's blaming Greyfeather, and of course that gets back to the idiots that were bothering him in the bar, and they go
Yep.
and they friggin' kill this old man. I was so pissed off because
Mhm.
Sheriff Dan goes to Greyfeather's house to talk to him and finds him dead, and I just like, he was pissed off. I mean, he was pissed. He even was talking to his
Yeah.
deputies, and he's like, "I should have seen this coming. I'm gonna nail these guys to the wall." Da 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 da. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Wow, man." So,
He
sad,
should have
sad.
with the way how ignorant those guys were,
Yeah, they
so
they were
yeah.
they were absolutely ignorant. And of
Mhm.
course, you have the funeral scene, and this was kind of a turning point too, Coriander. I just want to get to this as we head into the finale, where Dana Kimmel basically confronts Melissa and says, "Hey, you're just an attention-seeking, bitch. That old man didn't hurt anybody, but you." Just said that it must have been him, and that obviously caused the old man's death. And
Yeah.
at that point, Melissa kind of lowers her defenses a little bit. And it was kind of cool because the two of them kind of made up. Dana Kimmel
Mhm.
said, I'm sorry. I was rotten in this moment to you, blah, 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 blah. And they become friends. So I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool little arc. And it was cool because now Melissa is friends, with Dana Kimmel and her brother. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. You
Mhm.
also have that scene where their father, played by Patrick McNee, says, "Hey, I have some ancient Native American daggers that have been stolen, and Jason, played by Don Shanks, is the only one that could have taken them. These are worth a fortune." And so he,
Mhm.
tells Bo Hopkins, "You got to arrest him." And of course, they find the daggers in Jason's house and they arrest him. And I was like, well, damn. So, so in other words, the movie is really trying to pin all this stuff on Don Shanks because he's always
Mhm.
around where the killings are and the action. Long story
Mhm.
short, Melissa's mother says, well, we're going to have a sweet 16th birthday party for Melissa, and it'll be a way to kind of get the community together and have, some happy times because there's been these killings and people are like
Yep.
losing their shit. So you go to that scene and you start to realize a couple of different things here, Coriander, where the mystery starts getting unraveled a little bit. And again, I had no clue where this was going to go, no clue at
Right.
all. But at the party, and again, I just alluded to it, Dana Kimmel and her brother, they did something really nice for Melissa. I think it was a gift that
Mhm.
Marcy, played by Dana Kimmel, gave her, and it was really really cool. Because the three of them kind of hugged, and you could see them as friends, and that was great. Unfortunately, though, this is like near the end of the movie. We only got like 10 minutes left. So, one thing about this movie, slasher movies work best lean and mean. You don't want to go too much beyond like an hour and a half. But this is one movie
Mhm.
that maybe we could have used another 10 minutes to flesh out these relationships a little bit more. It was kind of, but I think they were doing so much in the movie. You had this great character played by Bo Hopkins. You had the whole
Mhm.
angle with Don Shanks. You had obviously Melissa, who's at the heart of the movie, even though
Mhm.
she's not on screen all the time. So it was a lot of moving parts. But I think they did a pretty good job, you know. But
Yeah.
let's get to the finale, Coriander. She decides to go off. They had the little birthday party, and
Mhm.
she decides to go off. And, Marcy is, played by Dana Kimmel. She's kind of hanging out. But her brother, Hank, goes with Melissa to the lake. And she's like, hey, let's go for a swim and all that type of stuff. You know where this is going to head, or at least we think we
Right.
know. And all of a sudden, you got those idiots who were at the birthday party and they're eyeing Melissa and this and that. It's like, you guys are such perverts, man. Seriously. And so they
Right.
go and they spy on Melissa and Hank, and they're sitting there and they were basically going to assault her. And it's like, what the hell is going on in this movie? You had no clue what was going on, but you hear that
Mhm.
music, Coriander, and Jason, Don Shanks, also is right there too. So you're still thinking about Don Shanks as the possible killer. Now he breaks it up and pretty much, saves Melissa. But next thing you know, there's that music and they get killed. The idiots, they get slashed up and this and that. Now, I want to ask
Yep.
you this. We're heading to the finale of this movie. Just to let you guys know that are watching, this is spoiler territory, the huge spoiler territory. This is the
Yeah.
twist of the movie, which I did not see coming. Did you see the twist coming, Coriander?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. So for you guys watching, we definitely appreciate you guys watching. But if you plan to see this movie and you don't want to be spoiled, this is the time where you want to pause
You
the
wanna
video,
yeah,
you
mute
know,
it. Yeah.
or mute it, I guess. I mean, this is the finale of it. And I will say, I didn't see the ending coming like this. So, all right.
Mm.
Next thing you know, the killer is attacking Hank, and I'm like, oh my god, don't kill him, because that sucks.
Right?
Because I'm really attached to Sheriff Dan,
Mhm.
and so next thing you know, he comes out of nowhere, and he pretty much saves the day. Now, Sheriff Dan, while the party was happening and Melissa going to the lake and all that, Sheriff Dan was still trying to figure out the MO of the killer. He's still researching and stuff like that. And he's at the office with his friend who has all the information that she was looking up for him. And he
Mhm.
figures out the killer in those scenes, which that was kind of cool too, because he has this look on his face. I won't tell you who the killer is yet, but he figures it out and you see it on screen, or at least it's alluding to it. And he's like,
Mhm.
oh my God. He's like, I have to go to the party, I have to go to the party. So I'm like, who's the killer? Who is it? And well, let's just throw it out there because he saves the day. He's trying to comfort Melissa. The killer is Melissa's mother.
Yeah.
What?
Right?
What?
Protective mama.
What?
Killing all those men. I don't blame her.
What is going on?
Oh,
Oh my
man,
God.
right? Yeah.
Steven's like, now tell me. We're telling you, man. We're telling you.
Yeah.
Denisha saying, you guys are amazing. I enjoy the content. Can't wait for the next live stream and movie topics. Thank you so much. We
Right?
appreciate
Thanks.
that. We definitely appreciate it. And Happy New Year. So it was the mother,
Yeah.
Coriander. She was killing
Yeah.
all the guys that were anywhere near her daughter.
Near her
But
daughter. Yeah.
the reason, and then we get the backstory a little bit, because she had told um, the people in the town, the sheriff, and also Michael Pataki, that she's Joni Platt, from back in the day, and this and that.
Mhm.
When the sheriff was looking into the files trying to figure out the MO, there was this newspaper clipping that said a teenager died in 1956 in a mental hospital and her name was Joni Platt. And that's how he figured
Mm.
out, I got to get to this birthday party. This chick
Yeah.
is going crazy. We find out that she is the sister of Joni Platt. And
Mhm.
um, I guess their father was abusive to the mother.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
mother killed the father, stabbed the father and so forth and so forth. And anyways, long story short, the fact of the matter is that Melissa's mother was stuck in that mental trauma. And so she
Yeah.
felt like she had to protect her daughter from anyone that would make any type of sexual advances on her.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, very good. It was pretty darn good. This was a I mean seriously, this was a multi-layered slasher. And I
Yeah.
honestly, whew, and Stevens in the chat say Melissa's mother, like in Scream 2 and
Yeah.
Mickey. That was great. Good one, man. But I did not see that coming. Did you see that coming, Coriander? I really did not.
No, I did not. Because look at this chick. She looks so pleasant and nice, and
Yes.
it's like I didn't think of her at all. Not at all.
Right? I was like, wait, it totally caught me off guard. And
Yeah.
and of course, movies like this, they definitely try to really throw you way off because you
Mm.
had that scene, Coriander, where the sheriff was going to do some investigating. He told the kids to stay home, and of course, Hank was like, "No, well, we're gonna go and have some fun." So
Right?
they're walking down the road, and the mother comes to pick them up and says, "Hey, do you guys need a ride?" Blah blah blah. And right after that scene, it cut to the football guy, hanging
Mhm.
out waiting for Melissa, and he gets killed. So the way the film is edited, you would never think it was the mother because she's
Yeah.
driving the sheriff's kids wherever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing about these movies, these slasher movies. They fake you out, and again, this movie is
Yeah. They get you.
yeah, and this movie plays kind of like an American giallo. So, anyways, it was great. But wait, there's more. It's like okay, so Bo Hopkins kind of, he saves Melissa, everything's good. Everyone's, kind of getting themselves situated. And then you have that scene where Melissa is walking, and I think if I remember correctly, she's walking into the house, and I think the father is in the house, Patrick McNee, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it doesn't really matter who's walking into the house. As she's walking, she has this look on her face and
Mhm.
she has a knife, one of those ancient Native American daggers. She has one of those in her hand, and she's walking, and the camera's closing in on her eyes, and then bam, it cuts.
Yeah.
Wow, that it was pretty darn
Yep.
good.
Right.
I was impressed. Now, the interesting thing about this movie, I had heard of this movie, but I had never seen it.
Mhm.
And the thing of it is what movie was released like right after this movie? I think it might have been a
What?
couple weeks after this movie was released. Is one of your favorite slashers of all time with one of the most shocking endings of any movie ever, especially for
Oh,
slashers.
okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
What do you think it is?
Oh no! Don't put me on the spot because that could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No.
just
So
take a
just
stab.
well, what if I might get the title wrong, the
Well, all
name.
right, I'll tell you what it
So
is.
just say it. Yes.
Sleepaway Camp.
Oh shit! See, that wasn't it.
What did you think?
So
What did you think it
never
was?
mind. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. So Sleepaway Camp was released in close
Yeah.
proximity to this movie. And
Oh wow.
obviously, Sleepaway Camp, is a cult classic, but it caught a lot
Mhm.
of, attention because of that wacky ass ending,
And the
which was
ending,
great.
right? Well, who
But
would have thought? You know.
well, exactly. So,
Oh
it,
shit.
it it was interesting because both of those movies, they have the POV shots, twist endings,
Yep.
the murder mystery, and all that type of stuff. But I think
Yeah.
that, in other words, what I'm saying is Sleepaway Camp overshadowed Sweet 16 quite a bit, and that's
Mhm.
why this movie is. pretty forgotten. Not a lot of people talk about it. So, but I'm glad that we got a chance to watch it and talk about it because I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty good. I thought it
Yeah.
was pretty good, and it had some really cool moments in it, character moments.
Mhm.
And again, shout out to Bo Hopkins, man. Bo Hopkins
Right.
alone, I could have watched a whole movie with just him as the sheriff solving crimes with his two kids. I
Oh, geez.
literally, no, for real. Their
Right.
dynamic was so good. Like every scene that they were in together was amazing. So all right, so let me catch up in the chat. Then we'll talk about what we really think of this movie. Let's see.
Okay.
Denisha saying it's the who done it thing because never seen it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Patrick saying the dorm that dripped blood. Oh, he was taking
That's a
a
great one.
guess. A guess. He was taking a guess at which movie we were talking about. Smells like Teen Horror said happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
No, we were talking
Another good
about how it
one.
was. Yeah, that was a good one too. Let's see. Denisha saying, can you do sleepaway camp for the next live stream topic? We did sleepaway camp. Um, Gosh, what was it, Coriander? Maybe 3 months ago?
Yeah,
Pretty sure it was
we
3 months
did do it
ago.
on I can't remember this what we did for this channel in the last. So is it
Yeah.
on this channel?
Yep,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Oh,
So
that's cool. So
Denisha, you have to go
yay.
back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we've done sleepaway camp. So definitely check that out. As a matter of fact, and Flamethrower also, I'm all over the place, guys. Don't mind me. Flamethrower saying, "Did we announce next week's movie yet?" Not yet,
Not
but
yet.
we're about to. We are about to. Um, and let me just also play this for you guys, just so you guys can see the
Oh
slasher
no.
the slasher movies that we've done in the slasher
Oh,
movie
okay.
club.
I
And
didn't know what you were
you
gonna
thought
do.
I was going to sing again. Here's this, guys. Check this out. These are the movies that we've done. Yeah, some good ones
Nice.
in here, man, and a
Look at them
couple of
all. I
duds.
forgot how many we've done.
Yeah, we've been rocking and rolling.
Nice.
I'm going to play
That's
that one
all
more
of them?
time. That's all of
Absolutely
them.
all of them?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think the first three or four were on the old channel, so we've got to
Yeah.
redo Sisters, Toolbox Murders, Driller
Yes, because
Killer,
Toolbox
um,
Murders. Oh,
yeah,
yes, that's a real good. And
and
Sisters.
Tourist Trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the other ones we do have on this channel. And we do have the playlist too, guys. By the way, and I don't really talk about this a lot, but especially if you watch a lot of our videos, I've tried to put our videos in the appropriate playlists. And so we do have a Slasher Movie Club playlist where you can see every single episode we've done. We've got playlists for all the franchises we've done. We've got a playlist for our Monster Fridays episodes, which are a little bit different in nature as far as the topics. So check out the
Hmm.
playlist, guys, because those are pretty helpful to kind of see, especially like Denisha was talking about with Sleepaway Camp, to see some of our older
Yeah.
episodes. And I believe Sleepaway Camp is under our cult classics.
Yeah, we did
But
the first two, right? We still need to do the
yes,
last one. Yeah.
yes, we did the first two. So definitely check that out. And Denisha, if you get a chance, let me know if you find it or if you can't find it. Throw
Mhm.
a comment in this video or any video. I always answer the comments, but let me know if you do find the Sleepaway Camp episode. Rusty's in the chat too saying expensive DVD, but you can get it. Never heard of it. There's some places to watch it though. I do want to see it though. Yeah, it's free on Tubi.
Tubi.
You
Hmm.
can see Sweet 16 on Tubi for free. Yeah.
Yep.
Denisha saying, yes, the playlist is amazing. Found the final destination. Yeah. Okay,
Nice.
cool. Awesome. So Coriander, you know what we
Yeah.
do, what we've been doing these last several weeks. When we
Yeah.
watch these movies,
Yep.
we have to give it our rating. So we've got
Yep.
different categories. We've got we're gonna buy it, we're gonna rent it, we're gonna maybe rent it, or we're gonna forget it. So what do you think?
Sorry.
What do you That's all right. What do you think we're gonna give? What are you gonna
Ah,
give Sweet 16 for your
hmm.
rating?
Well, this one, I would buy it. I would buy it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Shocking. Very cool. All right.
Well, like there's not too many movies where you get Native Americans. So just for that reason alone, I'd buy it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would also say I'm going to buy it. I think it had a lot of great things in it. Again, like I said, I know I keep saying it, but Bo Hopkins alone, and Don
Yeah.
Shanks was great in it too, and it was great to see
Yeah.
him in this type of role. Having that connection to Halloween. It was great to
Yeah.
see him. Just he was able to do some really cool things, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it had a great mystery. I really enjoyed the mystery.
It did.
I did not see the
Yeah.
ending coming. So yeah, I would
Right.
definitely say it's a buy it. I definitely would say
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
um and real quick before we tell you guys what we're doing next week, which I'm actually surprised and kind of excited to do because we don't look at the list. We just have the list written down, and it
Mhm.
comes again. I know I've talked about this before, but it comes from our handbook that we use to kind of do blind
Yeah.
watches, which is so much fun. This
And
has
we're
been
getting
such a fun
towards the
series.
end.
Yeah,
So
this has been a
this will be
fun series.
interesting.
I've enjoyed it a
Yeah.
lot. Real
Yeah.
quick, Smells Like Teen Horror says lots of 80s. Can the 90s get some love? I was a little kid in the 80s and loved horror, but I was a teen in the 90s. So 90s slashers movies have my heart. We're going to get there.
We'll get
We're going
there.
to get there.
Yep.
We to and again, we showed the list. We started in the 70s because Sisters
Yeah.
was 73 or 74. So we started in the
Okay, yeah.
70s and we're
Mhm.
going right on down the road, man.
There's so
But
many in the 80s.
yeah,
So
but
many.
let me just say this too, and I know some of you guys have been around our channel for a while, and some of you guys are newer. Check out our playlist because we've done other movies, other slasher movies from the '90s. We've done things like Candyman. So
Yeah.
check out our playlist because we do have some other great episodes on slasher movies from other decades as well. So check out our playlist. Let's see. Ginger Ninja's in the chat saying, "Hey, all, just made it. How's
Hello.
everyone doing? We're doing good, man.
Nice.
We're doing good."
Right?
Patrick saying, "Yawn. Are you bored, Patrick? Or are
Or
you
is it
making
because
fun
of
of
me?
Coriander?"
I know.
All right. Patrick saying he would buy it. Flamethrower saying maybe rent it. And
Mm,
Denisha saying I would rent it. All right.
okay.
Let's see. Ginger Ninja saying, I know you've said it before, but what's the name of that book? The name of the book, I'll bring it up again here. And that's okay, man. I don't mind. It's the Teenage Slasher Movie Book. And it's really, really awesome. I think it's had a couple of editions. I've heard about this
Yeah.
book for years and
And it's had some
finally got it.
movies that I couldn't find, like, where we could watch it. So, I mean, there's
Hmm.
a bunch of movies in there that we haven't even touched because I just don't know where to find them. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Patrick saying it was Coriander. Okay, so making fun.
I'm sorry.
Steven saying, "Are you taking recommendations?" Well, I'll tell you what. And I always have to say this too for you guys, especially you guys that watch us quite a bit. We really appreciate it, and it's amazing, and we love hanging out with you guys. And definitely, if you want to help support the channel and our videos, please make sure that you like the video. That would be
Yeah.
great. I mean, obviously, if you don't like the episode, be honest and you can hit the thumbs down too. But either way, that's engagement that helps the video on YouTube. But also leaving us a comment in the comment section that really helps out as well. So if you do want to
And
give us any recommendations,
yeah.
let us know in the comment section and we'll take a
Yeah,
look
and
at
not
it.
only that though too, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know how many more, you know, movies we're gonna get from this book because, like I said, we're almost at the end, but we're not quite there. But
Yeah.
once it's done, I mean, yeah, if you guys start recommending stuff, hell, that's more movies that, yeah, we can talk about.
Yep.
So
Yep.
definitely.
Absolutely. Yep. Patrick saying, replay the new intro night.
Oh,
I'll I'll hold off
Patrick,
on
you just
that.
want to get me going, man. Oh
I'll
my
hold I'll hold off on that, Patrick, because Coriander's gonna kill me. But check the replay because and let me just say this: you guys don't know this, but
God.
when I play the
Man.
intros and things like that, we can see each other, in the virtual backstage. Coriander's face was like, and she's like, boo, boo. It's like, but that episode was hilarious. Our Too Scared
Oh
to Scream.
man.
Check out that episode. It was a great episode, fun movie. Coriander was gold as
I
always.
mean,
But
I enjoyed that movie, yeah, but
yeah,
ooh, some of the music was. and just
Denisha saying, hit that like button. Yes, please hit the like
that's
button.
right.
Leave us a comment. And another thing, too, that I don't mention, but I know some people have, share our videos out on your social media. That would help, too, guys. Anything to help us out, we appreciate. We've
Yeah.
definitely been very fortunate. And it's been a really cool year for us.
Mm,
But, we can always use the help. That's the thing.
right.
The more help we get, the better, and it also lets us know what you guys enjoy, and it
Yeah.
seems like people are enjoying this series, so that's what keeps us doing it. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
that's just how
And
it
so
works out.
speaking of that, what's on next week?
Next week, Coriander,
Yeah.
we are going to be talking about Splatter University. Splatter
Ooh.
University, I believe it's from 84, 83 or 84, I believe.
Hmm.
So that's what we got for next week, guys.
Nice.
I believe it's available on Prime. I'm not sure if it's available on YouTube. Some of these movies, guys, and we've actually watched some of these slasher movies. We've watched them on YouTube for free as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So again,
Have you
ne-
seen this one?
God, I can't remember. I
I
know of
haven't.
the movie. I know of
Yeah,
the
I
movie,
haven't.
but
Yeah.
I can't
Like I
remember if I've
remember the
actually
cover
seen it.
art and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So we'll find
Nice.
out when I watch it.
Right? Oh God.
Patrick saying, share this episode out. Absolutely, please, that'd be great. We would enjoy it.
Right?
Let's see. Saying, sounds great. Splatter you. Exactly. I can't remember if I watched it, but yeah. Denisha saying, I have a recommendation. Wrong Turn. It's a good one. That is a good one. And at some
Yeah.
point, we'll probably be getting into that series. That's probably one of the ones
I
that
think
I'd
I've
like to
seen
jump
like
into.
I don't know if I've seen the second one, but the first one was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It
How
really
many is
was.
there anyway?
Ah, God, I think there's like five, or there was a
Really?
remake,
Oh
kind of
wow.
reboot type of thing. Yeah, might be
Oh
six. I
wow.
can't remember.
Hmm.
Um, Ginger Ninja saying Slasher Movie Club and Monster Fridays, so much fun. Thanks so much,
Oh,
man. We
nice.
we we appreciate it. We really do, and we're just having fun too. And it's great to be able to do that and see that viewers are having fun with it as well, because
Yeah.
that's really what we've always wanted to do. So,
Yeah.
anyways, guys, I've been rambling on long enough.
All
This was a fun
right.
episode. Again,
Yeah.
please leave us a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think of this movie, or if you do have any recommendations, that's where you can leave them. And we'll catch you guys next time. Next week is Splatter University. So try to watch it, guys, or read up on it, whatever you got to
Yeah.
do. We'll have a discussion. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Apchichkanamiel.